Hi everyone, it's nice to have you here again today. My name is Alexander Iheme. I am the program manager for Believers Care Society. Before we start, like I said, I always like to start every of my life skills training session with a word of prayer. Wherever you are right now in all the centers, can I please ask that we bow down our heads as we honor the Lord in prayer. Father, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, Lord, we want to thank you again for this opportunity that you have given us here today again to be in the place of learning. Father, we thank you that you have given us wisdom, divine wisdom, and you have also given us the ability to understand, to comprehend what we have been taught. Lord, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I declare that our understanding is opened and that all that we will learn today will be things that will help us to move forward in our lives to your service and to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Good. All right. Like I said, we are starting with the second session of our life skills training today. I would like to start by recapping what we taught yesterday, the things that we spoke about yesterday. Yesterday we spoke so much about purpose, and I would like us to have a sequence. So I'm going to take time now to give us a recap on the things that we spoke about yesterday before we move into today's session. All right. Yesterday we spoke about purpose. I'm just reading it out for us. We say that the purpose of this course is to help us to develop a life mission plan. We established that. Number two, we also say that our life mission basically means the direction our lives should take or what we are going to do with our life. Number three, our life mission is the means through which we accomplish our life purpose. Never forget that. Number four, to develop a life mission, we must take a journey of self-discovery. First, to understand who we are, why God created us, and what we are created to do. What one is created to do is their life purpose. We also learned that the essence of life is purpose. If we know our purpose in life and follow it, our lives will have great meaning. We will be happier, fulfilled, and successful. We learn two types of purpose. We learned universal purpose, which we say that our universal purpose, the universal purpose of everyone that is born, everything that is made on planet Earth, is to make a contribution, is to make a positive contribution. So we learned universal purpose, which is to make contribution. We learned that to fulfill universal purpose, to accomplish universal purpose, one must first discover their individual purpose. If you remember the circle that we discussed yesterday. Today, day 2, we will start the journey on how to discover that individual purpose. Meaning today we are going to start on how to discover that individual purpose. My purpose, your purpose. That's what we're going to start today. We will start by looking back at our 5 circles and start with gifts and talent. If you remember yesterday, we ended with gifts and talent. So let's go back to the circle. As you can see the circle, we have the first circle, which is purpose, and the second circle there we have is gifts and talent. So today we are going to be looking at how to discover our areas of gifts and talent. So by the time we finish our class today, the session for today, you should be able to know what are your abilities. All right, let's start by defining gifts and talent. definition of gifts and talent. Number one, gifts and talent are natural abilities that one is born with. Number two, they are our areas of strength. Number three, they are basically the product and the content. And I'm going to take a few minutes to explain the product and the content. If you remember yesterday, we spoke briefly about it. Now, let's start looking at gifts and talent on the basis of a product and its content. Remember, we said that every product is not just a product. There is something that made it a product, which is basically its content or the ingredients that is found in it. The ingredients or the content of a product tells you what that product can do. Who puts the content into the product? Probably the designer or the manufacturer, the one who made the product. Every product is made to serve a need or to meet a need, to fill a gap. Now, every product has what is called ingredients. And if I want to know, probably without even opening the product, by merely reading the label where the ingredients of the product are written, I can tell exactly what that product can do. And the product does not only have the content, the ingredients, it also tells you the direction for use. Meaning that we have a product. The product is made up of ingredients, which is the content, and then also the product gives you a direction on how to use. Now, let's bring it to the areas of our giftings and our talents. God created a man for a purpose, of course for his own glory, but for a specific work that he must do on earth, that through that work, that glory may be given to him. Remember what Jesus said? He said, "You are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill that cannot be hidden." Then he said, "Let your light shine so brightly that men may see your good works." Do you see the underline? The good works. And bring glory and give glory to God. How is that glory coming to God? He said through good works. Now let's look at gifts and talent in this content. God created a man, dynamic being, and God gave man a purpose on earth. And because of that purpose that God gave man, he gave him abilities to be able to accomplish that purpose. It would be wrong that if God asks me to do something and he doesn't give me the ability to do it. If God asks me to do something with my life, it means that he has given me the abilities for me to be able to do it. Let's take another example. Let's take it from the church perspective. Let's say you have a son. And before you go to church, you say to your son, "Son, please make sure that when we get to the church that you give your offerings. Make sure when you get to the service, when we get to church, when it's time for offering, make sure that you give your offering." This is just a child. He's just a small child. Now, the first question that the child is going to ask you is going to say, "Daddy, Mommy, where is the money for the offering?" The child never asked to make an offering, to give an offering. You instructed the child to say, when you get to church, make sure that you give an offering. If you expect the child to give an offering, it means you should also give the child the money with which to offer with, or the substance to offer with. The same thing with God. God created us and sent us here on planet Earth for us to come and serve a need, to make a difference. And on the basis of that need, he also gives us abilities. Those abilities is what we have classified as our areas of gifts and talent. Meaning every human being on planet Earth that is created by God has natural abilities. We did not buy these abilities in the market. It was not given to us by our parents. It was not given to us by our peers. We were born with these abilities. Hence, they are called natural ability, inherent ability that we are born with. Now, the idea for these giftings and the talent is that our gifts and talent should form the basis, or rather should be the means through which we establish our career life, which is our work life. Remember, every human being is born to work. When God created Adam and Eve, He gave him a primary assignment. He gave him the garden. He said, I have given you this garden to keep it and to tend to it. He gave him work to do. The first assignment that God gave to Adam and Eve was work to do. The same thing with man. The giftings and talents that God has given to every one of us should be something that should form the basis of our life work. For an example, in our high schools, we have what is called a career guidance. When we do career guidance for students, what are we trying to do? We are trying to do what is called self-discovery, to go into a journey with them, within themselves, in the inside, to find out exactly what is this person made of. What are the natural abilities that this person is born with? Once we identify those natural abilities, we encourage them to choose a career path in the areas of that discovery, in the areas of that gifts and talent. Why is it important for someone to choose career path, to choose his life work in the areas of his giftings and talent? Because that's the way it should be. That's the way God wants it to be. That was the reason for those abilities. When we do things in the areas of our giftings and talent, there is a natural fulfillment. There are greater things that comes with it. The fulfillment that we feel, the natural ability to do that comes with it tells you that this is not just a skills that we have learned, but this is the areas of our strength. Hence we say these are the areas of our strength. But now, how do we begin to discover or to know what is my gift and my talent? We are going to use what is called pointers. In explaining and helping us to understand this, we are going to use what is called pointers. I cannot say to you, this is your ability or that is your ability. No, I cannot say that. My responsibility is to enlighten us, to enlighten you through using what is called pointers. And as I explain these pointers, you should be able to know where do you belong on the basis of the pointers that I'm going to explain to you. Remember, I said they are called pointers. Pointers does not mean your gift and talent. It's more or less, let me use Soweto again for an example, just like yesterday. If you are traveling from Boisens, Johannesburg, to Soweto, when you get to the freeway, you see road signs. Those road signs are pointing, some of them are pointing towards Soweto. Probably you've never been to Soweto before. But if you are driving on that freeway and you see the road sign says to you that if you are going to this direction, it means you're going to end up in Soweto. Those are the pointers. Are the pointers Soweto? No. Are the road signs Soweto? No. What are the road signs? They are pointers. They are enablers to show you that you are on the right direction to the destination that you are heading to. So we are going to start with those pointers now. We have 5 of them. We're going to take them one after the other, and I'm going to try to be as slow as possible, putting also into consideration the time that I have been given to cover this lesson according to your times in your classes. Okay, so the first pointer that we are going to use at all the times, the first pointer that will always show or indicate one's area of gifts and talent is what is called passion. Passion. Passion will always be the first indicator to show you whether your giftings and your talent are in this area or whether our giftings and talents are in that area. Passion will always be the first one. I'm going to give explanations. I'm going to take scriptural evidence, scriptural explanations. I'm going to use scientific evidence, and I'm also use natural things that we see every day, like Jesus said. He said, if I explain to you the things that are worldly, the things that are natural, and you cannot understand them, how can you understand if I explain to you the things that are spiritual? Meaning the things that are hidden. Meaning that the things that are hidden, the things that we see are made possible by the things that we see. The things that we see are made possible by the things that we do not see. All right, let's start with explanations. What is passion? Number one, it says, passion is a strong and barely controllable emotions towards a desire. Strong and barely controllable, meaning it's more or less uncontrollable emotion towards a desire, a cause, work, someone, or something. I'm going to take it again. Strong and barely controllable emotion towards a desire, cause, work, or someone or something. Number two, when you love what you do, the passion comes out naturally. When you love what you do, the passion comes out naturally. In other words, it's saying that we cannot create passion and we can't even destroy passion. Just like an energy. I said I'm going to use scientific evidence. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. You cannot create passion and you cannot destroy passion. I'm going to explain. Number three, purpose and passion are interconnected. Passion is the fuel that drives life purpose. Passion is the fuel, the petrol that drives life purpose. Passion is the fuel that drives life purpose. For an example, if a vehicle is a life purpose, the petrol that drives it becomes passion. In other words, in the absence of passion, life purpose cannot be accomplished. Okay. Passion drives you to go beyond what the usual can do. Passion produces joy and pain. It is self-consuming. It is zealous. Oh, wonderful, I like that. He said passion is self-consuming. Passion is self-consuming. It consumes you. It eats you up. It takes hold of you. And it is zealous. Now, let me explain. I want to use a typical biblical evidence or Bible explanations to explain this. And I'm going to take it from the book of John chapter 2, from verse 18 to 17. And I'm going to be using the New Living Bible. The translation that I'm using is going to be the New Living Bible. And I'm going to read John chapter 2 from verse 18 and to 17 and explain it in the context of what we are talking about. Now, it says, it was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. So Jesus went to Jerusalem. Verse 14. In the temple area, he saw merchants selling cattle, sheep, and doves for sacrifice. He also saw dealers at the tables exchanging foreign money. Jesus made a whip from some ropes and chased them all out of the temple and chased them all out of the church. Let's take that one. And chased them all out of the temple. He drove out the sheep and the cattle, scattered the money changers, coins over the floor, and turned over their tables. Then, going over to the people who sold doves, he told them, underlined, listen to this, he told them, get these things out of here. Get these things out of here. Stop turning my father's house into a marketplace. Get these things out of here. Stop turning my father's house into a marketplace. Look at verse 17. Then his disciples remembered this prophecy from the scripture. Passion for God's house will consume me. The disciples, let me explain. Jesus have always been with his disciples for some years and for some time, and they've been with him for many times. But at this particular occasion, he did something that they've never seen him do before. He did something that he has never done before. And they were like, what's going on here? Who is this man? Now look at it this way. If you remember, Jesus came on the planet Earth to establish a church. If you remember the account with St. Peter, when he asked St. Peter, when he asked the disciples, who do people think that I am? And others said Elijah, and they said so many things. And then Peter said, you are Christ, the Son of the living God. What did Jesus say? Jesus said to him, he said, flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father. Then he said, upon this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. What did he came to build? What was his primary assignment on earth? It is to establish a body, to establish a church. Of course, he is called the bride. We are called the bride of the Lamb. The church, the bride. He came to establish a church. Now, when he came to the temple, on this occasion, he saw things that should not be in the areas of his assignment. He saw activities that should not be seen in the areas of his assignment. It's more or less like a distraction. Something trying to stop what you came to do. Something trying to stop your vision. Something trying to stop your purpose in life. You know, and at this point, Jesus really gets very, very angry. And the Bible here said that he took a whip and he chased them away. And he said to them, stop doing this in my Father's house. For it is written, my Father's house should be called a house of a prayer and not a place for a marketplace. Now look at the story here. And the disciples, they sat back and they looked at him, wondering what could have moved him to be this way. They've never seen him behave like this before. And they remembered that it was written concerning him. The zeal for your house will consume me. The passion for your house will consume me. The passion for God's house. So this is what passion does. Passion is a driving force. It's just like when you have an orange. Let's assume you have an orange. And you cut the orange, you cut it into two. That orange contains a juice. But until you squeeze the orange, the juice never comes out. Passion is a clear indicator of giftings and talents. When you see a person functioning in the areas of his gift and talent, what you will see coming out of that person is passion. Show me a man that is passionate at what he does. Then now I'm going to show you a man that is functioning in the areas of his gifting and talent. So we said you cannot create passion. The moment you start functioning in the areas of your giftings and your talent, passion naturally bubbles out from you. Passion naturally comes out. It's not difficult to see a man that loves the work he does. Passion is love. Passion is pain. Passion overwhelms you. Passion for what you do drives you beyond what the natural can do. So my question to you now is this. What is it that you do with passion? What is your passion? What are you passionate about? Your giftings and your talent could be in that position. Your giftings and your talent could be in that area. I'm going to take it again. What are you good at? What is it that you do with a strong passion? What is it that people always say to you, you know what, the way you do this, I can see how passionate you are about this. I can see how passionately you do this. You are truly passionate about this. You are truly passionate with this. The truth is this. Your areas of giftings and talent could be there. Remember I said, until you squeeze an orange, you never know that it has a juice. If the orange is not squeezed, the juice does not come out. If you do not function in the areas of our giftings and our talent, the passion that we are talking about here, it does not come. It does not show. But when you start functioning in the areas of your giftings and talent, that passion naturally begins to show. So number one, we said the first pointer and indicator to show you the areas of your giftings and talent is passion. I hope you get that one. So let's go to number two. All right. We're going to the second pointer. Okay. All right. The second pointer that we are going to look at in understanding our areas of giftings and talent is the name that people call you positively. The name, I said the name, not names. Not names. The name that people call you positively. The name that people call you positively. Let me read this and then I will try to explain. It says, when we are good at something, people tend to give us a nickname of similar person or something that does the same thing. This person we are nicknamed after will usually be some famous person. Example, someone who gives or loves helping people may be nicknamed as Mother Teresa. All of us knows Mother Teresa. So someone who does good like her will be given a nickname. Oh, that one is Mother Teresa. Oh, that one is this. All right. So it says, people may give you a name on the basis of problems that you are solving. Remember that. People may give you a name on the basis of problems that you solve. In the family sector, one's community, place of work or service, people will call you positive name, stroke name on what they see that you love and always do consistently. The last one, every problems in life gravitates towards their solution. Oh, I love that. Every problems in life, it's like a husband that seeks his wife or a wife that seeks the husband. Every problems in life gravitates towards their solution. So people will be drawn to you on the basis of the solutions or solution you provide or needs that you meet. Now, look at the type of people that comes to you for solutions or services. It says a lot about your area of gifts and talent. Let me explain that. Take for an example, You are a kind of a person who is attracted to people that are not feeling well. Let me take it that way. You are attracted to people who are not feeling well. Every time you see someone that is not feeling well, you always want to go to help them. Are you okay? What's going on? And you want to recommend, have you done this? Will you do this? Have you done this? And by so doing, people begin to say to you, come on, are you a nurse? Are you a nurse? They begin to ask you questions. Are you a nurse? And when they see you do that over and over and over again, they might end up giving you a nickname, a nurse. Does it make sense? Let me take another one. Let's assume that you are the kind of a person who always like, when you see people that are in trouble, you always want to sit with them and you talk to them and you want to build them up and you want to lift them up. Anytime you see someone that is not feeling well or someone that is down, even when other people are trying to stay away from such a person, you will be the one to go to the person and say, hey, are you okay? Have you done this? How about this? Can I do this? Can I help you in this way? And when you do that long enough, people begin to give you a nickname on the basis of what you do. On the basis of what people see you do often. And they can tell that this is something you love doing. Anytime you see this kind of a thing, you love attending to this kind of issues or challenges or need, they will eventually give you a nickname. And sometimes they can nickname you to someone that does similar thing. Probably another famous person that is known that does the same thing. They might give you that person as a nickname. For an example, someone who loves soccer, who loves playing soccer, people might end up giving him a nickname and said, oh, that one Ronaldo, or things like that. People give you a nickname on the basis of something they know that you do consistently. But the question is this: why are you always drawn to doing that, to do what you do? Have you ever wondered why? I said, every problem gravitates around their solution. Let's take for an example. If Alex is not feeling well, I will be drawn to go and see a doctor. If my clothes needs mending, I will be drawn to go and see a tailor. If I need knowledge or I want to learn, I will be drawn to go and register to meet a teacher to teach me something because I want to learn it. So what are we saying here? Every problem in life is always searching for their solution. Every problem in life is always searching for their mate, their opposite. A problem and the solution. Where there is a problem, the answer is a solution. So the question is this: what kind of people are always drawn to you? Why do people always come to you? What kind of people are there? What is it that people always come to you to look for assistance for, or to look for a solution for? Remember what I said. A life purpose is given for the principal reason of meeting a need. If it is not contributive, it is not a purpose. If it doesn't meet a need, it's not a purpose. Purpose is not self-seeking. Purpose is not self-seeking. It exists to meet a need. So I go back to what I'm saying this. What is the name that people call you positively on the basis of the things they see you do all the time? Or what is the nickname that people has given to you? Because they see you always do the same thing over and over. You see a child always figuring out, trying to fix a television, trying to fix the kettles, trying to fix the fridge. A child that is always drawn to electronics. And people begin to ask, that child, is he an electrician? Or is he a technician? They've given him a name on the basis of what they see the child do always. So what is the name that people call you positively? Especially if you have a friend here. Let's assume we are here and you have a friend here in Johannesburg, and suddenly there is a name that your friends always call you, and you leave Johannesburg and you go to, probably you just traveled to Pietermaritzburg, or you went to Limpopo, and you met new set of friends there. It didn't take long. Those new friends that you met there, they never knew your life in Johannesburg. Suddenly, they begin to call you the same name that people are calling you in Johannesburg. Or they begin to tag you with the same things that those in Johannesburg are saying concerning you. Meaning those in Pietermaritzburg is saying the same thing that those in Johannesburg is saying concerning you. Without doubt, the areas of your giftings and talent is there. Without doubt, your areas of giftings and talent is there, because you know why? We do not see ourselves, but people sees us. People can tell what you are doing. And they can tell, oh, I know who can do this. Oh, I know who can solve that problem. Oh, why don't that guy? He always does this kind of a thing. So they give you a name on the basis of what they know that you are good at. The areas of your giftings and your talents could be there. Okay, so let's go to the third one. Thoughts direction. Okay, I'm going to try to explain this one. Okay, we call it thoughts direction. Directions of your thought. It's more or less what you always think about. What you always think about. When it comes to your career life or work life, the thoughts you always think about. So this pointer number 3, we say is thoughts direction. Thoughts direction. You can read it on the board, thoughts direction. All right, let's look at it this way. When we were children, when we were small, every one of us has a dream of what we would want to be when we grow up. You remember those days when we were small? And then you'll be asked, oh, but what are you going to be when you grow up? You say, hey, I want to be a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. And that one say, hey, I want to be an engineer. That one says, I want to be a pilot. So I'm not sure what you said you would want to be when you grow up, when you were a child. But the truth is this, nearly all of us, if not every one of us, if you ask me personally, I can tell you now, I don't remember what is it that I said when I was a child that I was going to be. But I'm saying this to lead you to something. Now look at it this way. Every one of us, when we were kids, there is a dream that we say that we would like to be, what we would want to be when we grow up. And then, suddenly we start growing up. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 17 years, and the ideology and the understanding of life begins to change. Life begins to happen to us, and we begin also to happen to life. And suddenly, you realize that there is this drastic change of life's direction. Those that says they wanted to be a nurse, suddenly they are probably engineers. What they said they wanted to be, they no longer what they said they would like to be. Now, the reason why probably some of us, in fact most of us, did not become what we had said that we wanted to be when we were kids, is probably because as a child we do not yet understand who we are. But as we grow older, we come to knowledge, we come to understanding, oh, this is who I am, this is what I'm capable of doing, this is what actually I love to do, this is what moves me, this is what inspires me, and we begin to pursue those careers accordingly. However, there are those that had said as a child, this is the path that I want to follow. This is the dream I want to follow. This is who I want to be. As a child, they made that confession. As a child, they spoke this word. And as they grow up in that decision, in that dream. They grow with that dream. Probably this person has said, I want to be a nurse. As a child, he said, I want to be a nurse. And every time this child sees nurses, she is attracted to nurses. As a child, she keeps growing, or he keeps growing with this dream. He keeps growing with this dream of becoming a nurse. He grows with this dream. Now, this is what is going to happen. His thoughts life. Because, oh goodness, his thoughts life will be centered on the dream that he has. There is what is called, how do I put it? There is concentration, a bedrock, a concentration of thoughts, a bedrock of thoughts. As the child grows up and says, I want to be a nurse, they think about being a nurse. They are increasing their thoughts life. The concentration of their thoughts on the areas of their dream, and they keep growing these thoughts. Thoughts of being a nurse. Every day they think about being a nurse. When they see a nurse, they admire a nurse. Everything they see looks like a nurse to them. Everything they see looks like a nurse to them. They grow up with these gigantic thoughts life. They build these strong thoughts, these foundational thoughts of always thinking about same thing. Most of the time, it becomes a bedrock of thoughts in their heart. It is not easy to do away with that thoughts. The question is, why does this person keep that thoughts? Because if you don't enjoy those thoughts, if you don't love what you are thinking about, you can't keep thinking about it. You would want a way to escape. But this group of people that I'm talking about, they keep thinking about being a nurse. I want to be a nurse. Every day, every time they think of being a nurse, there is this joy they feel. The thoughts of thinking of their dream, becoming a nurse, is so soothing, is so fulfilling to them. And they grow up with that thoughts. You know what? For people in that category, if they end up not becoming that dream, it could leave some gaps in their heart. Because why do they keep thinking about that dream? Because it is the areas of their gifts and talents. Gifts and talents are who you are. They are natural. So this person cannot keep thinking of a dream. Like I said, it's a thought direction. Some of us grow up and we abandon those dreams, but there are those that stayed in that dream and they build thoughts life in that dream. A thought that you have kept for 20 years, a thought that you have kept, you have nurtured, you intentionally nurtured it because you love the thoughts of being a nurse. You love that thought. Every time things are not going well, if you remember that one day you're going to be a nurse, there is a comfort that you receive. Every time people talk you down, you remember that no, one day I'm going to be a nurse, there is a comfort that you receive. Every time you do things in the areas that pushes you to be a nurse, there is this fulfillment, there is this joy that you receive. Your areas of giftings and talents could be in that direction. So we said it's thoughts direction. Now I want to use a scriptural evidence or a scriptural reference. So I hope it works. I hope this works, and it works. Let's look at Matthew chapter 6. I'm going to take in it from New Living Translation. Yes, I'm going to take it from New Living Translation. Matthew chapter 6. I'm going to read it from verse 21. And these are the words of the Master. These are the words of Jesus. Look at what he said. He said, wherever, verse 21, wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. Your eyes is like a lamp that provides light for your whole body. When your eyes is healthy, King James Version says, when your eyes is single. When your eyes is healthy or single, your whole body is filled with light. Here he's dealing with vision. He's dealing with focus. But when your eyes is unhealthy, meaning it's not single, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. Number 24, look at what it says. No one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. There is so much to explain in this particular scripture. In fact, it's a revelation. It has so much to talk about. But in this context, I want to use verse 21. He says, where your treasure is, there your heart will always be all the time. Thoughts, meaning your heart in this direction, whatever you love, you always think about it. In this context, that's what it's trying to say. Whatever you love, where your treasure is, there will your heart be. If there is a certain thoughts that you have kept concerning your dream, concerning the direction that your life should take, and you have kept these thoughts, and you have nurtured this dream from a child, and this thought has grown, and it's no longer easy to do away with these thoughts, it's important that you follow that dream. Have you seen some people, they've grown old and probably they are very rich and mighty people, and they will always say to you, you know what, I've always wanted to be a nurse. I've always wanted to be this. I've always wanted to be this. Why are they saying that? Probably this person is rich. This person is happy. This person has got everything. And you realize that in some cases, when they have children, they can actually ask their children to become their dream. I mean, which some people does out of ignorance, not like they want to punish the child. No, it's basically out of ignorance. Our parents always have our best interest at heart. But in this case, I'm trying to explain something. Where a parent says to their child, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a nurse. I have always wanted to be a nurse since I was a child. What does that tell you? There is a gap that was never filled in the life of this person. There is a void that was never filled in the life of this person. Because they have kept their thoughts of what they would want to be when they grow up. Why do you keep the thoughts if you don't love it? If it doesn't make you happy? Why do you cherish it? Where a man's treasure is, there his heart will be also. So look at that dream that you have since you are a child. If you have kept that dream till this far, it's basically a pointer, an indicator to say that your giftings and your talent is in that direction. I hope this is clear. All right, let's go to number 4, the fourth pointer. The things that makes you cry. The fourth pointer is the things that makes you cry. The things that makes us cry. Now, we must understand that abilities, natural abilities, gifts and talents of people are different. Natural abilities are in different ways, and they meet different needs. Okay. Now, but with this particular pointer, we are going to be dealing with the heart of a person. We are going to be looking at feelings. How does emotions contribute in helping us to understand our areas of giftings and talents? Now, it says the things that makes you cry. Now, let's look at it this way. It says, people cries with their heart and not their eyes. People cries with their heart and not their eyes. The tears shows us how the heart is feeling, either pain or joy. Do you understand that? He says people, when people cry, some tears, people actually cries with their heart, not with their eyes. He said the tears that comes out is helping us to see the emotions, the feelings that are happening in the heart of people. Now remember, this number 4 said the things that makes you cry. Then it continues to read, what pain or injustice or unhappiness have you witnessed that you just can't live with? Probably a social injustice. It's very common in the world today. Social injustice, where you see some group of people being abused, you see some other people being vulnerable to other social vices. It says, what pain or injustice or unhappiness have you witnessed? Domestic violence, child abuse, human trafficking, social injustice, poverty, unemployment. What pain or injustice or unhappiness have you witnessed that you just can't live with? Is there anything that touches you so deeply that it drives you? Often, a powerful purpose can come from powerful pain. Take note of that. Often, a powerful purpose can come from powerful pain. People can discover themselves through pain. It is possible. Difficult times can lead to self-discovery. It is possible. Difficult times can lead to self-introspection that then leads to self-discovery. It says, what pain or injustice or unhappiness have you witnessed that you just can't live with? Is there anything that touches you so deeply that it drives you? Often, a powerful purpose can come from powerful pain. This is the reason why many people becomes missionaries. You remember missionaries? People that goes to another country or goes to another place just to help people that are going through difficult times. Those are called missionaries. It could be social change agents. He said this is the reason why many become missionaries, social change agents, social activists, and many other such. It continues, it says, our sympathy, empathy, and compassion can help us know if our area of gifts and talent is in this direction. He says, our sympathy, we know what is sympathy, we will explain more. Our empathy, we know what is empathy. And compassion can help us know if our areas of gifts and talent is in this direction. Let me explain this. It says the things that makes you cry. Remember that in this world that we are living, there are many people that are hurting. There are many people that are going through difficult times. And there are those that are specifically, whenever you see it, it hurts you. And it hurts you to the point of crying. And many times you feel like you would want to help to relieve that problem that that person is facing. Sometimes you don't even have the resources to do so, but there is a drive in you. You are always attracted to people that goes through this kind of problem. Sometimes it could be women abuse, that there are some group of people that are naturally attracted. When they see a woman being abused, they stand up for women and they want to fight for their right. Some people can even give their lives for other people, just for them to be well. It could be poverty. It could be children. So there are so many injustices in the world today. But what we are dealing with here is concerning career paths, life purpose that are found in those directions. So we said the things that makes you cry. What are the pains? What are social injustice? What are other kind of social ills or injustice that you have witnessed, or that you know that every time that things like this happens, your heart is sore and you would want to help, and it makes you to cry. And it's not something that happens once. Every time things like that happens, even if it's in the movie, it could be in the movie. The things, those kind of things, if you witness it in the movie, it will provoke the same kind of feeling, the same kind of emotion as though it is physical. It is happening in the real life, even when you watch them in the movies. So it kind of drives you. You are attracted to people that goes through that kind of pains. You are attracted to those kind of people that are having those kind of sufferings. Your giftings and your talents could be in the direction of those people. Now, how do we mean? We said here that our sympathy, I'm going to just say mode, sympathy mode, our sympathy, our empathy, and our compassion can help us know exactly this feeling that I'm having towards this person. Does my giftings and talent really found in that direction? Is my life purpose driven towards that direction? Remember, the gifts and talents is a vehicle to accomplishing life purpose. So where there is a purpose, there must be an ability. And those abilities are gifts and talent. And we are now demystifying how to establish, how to know exactly, using your giftings and your talents to understand what your life purpose is. Now we go back again to sympathy. We said sympathy, let's explain this three. Is sympathy, is empathy, and is compassion. They are synonymous. They are more or less sometimes, interchangeably defined as though they are the same. But they are not the same. They are actually different. And I'm going to explain them now. Let's take the first one, sympathy. I read for us. It says, emotions, feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. Sympathy means the emotions or feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. It is usually temporary and short-lived. For an example, if you see someone, maybe something bad happened to someone, and then you say, oh, sorry, and we feel pity. Everyone has the ability to feel pity for someone or for something. And you say, oh, sorry, sorry. Oh, but how is she gonna cope? How is he gonna cope? Oh, and it might not necessarily be a human being. It can even be an animal. There are people that their life purpose drives them towards animal. There are people that their life purpose drives them towards trees, towards vegetations, towards plantation. You see, God is universal. And the abilities that He has given to every man is universal in nature. Hence we say that our life purpose is universal. We call it universal life purpose. Okay, now, so we said sympathy is an emotions, feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. It is usually temporary and short-lived. What does it mean? We just feel pity and then we move on with our lives. The moment you leave that person or the moment you leave that place, you have forgotten about it. It doesn't bother you anymore. It is instantaneous. At that point in time, you see what happened, you want to help, and then you help, and then you left that place, and that's it. Sometimes you feel sympathy for someone, you can give them money, probably the person is poor, they are hungry, you feel pity because they don't have food to eat, and then you take money, you give them, and you go your way, and you feel happy. And it's a wonderful thing to do. You feel happy that you have done so. And then you move on with your life. You might not even remember it anymore. Okay, so that is sympathy. And everyone has the ability to sympathize with someone. We go step further. After sympathy, what you get is what is called empathy. After sympathy, you get what is called empathy. What is empathy? Before I read here, Let me explain in my own understanding, according to my own knowledge. What is empathy? The empathy means when you have found people that are probably they are in trouble, or someone like we mentioned that is having some challenges, and you sympathize with them. When it goes beyond sympathy and you begin to put yourself in the shoes of that person to become one of feeling their own pain. Now you can feel their pain. You are no longer just sympathizing with this person. It's now bothering you. The problem of this person is bothering you. Every time you remember it, you say, oh God, you have passed that place. But their problem becomes now your problem. You think about them, you remember them, and what person went through. It's called empathy. It's more or less like a senior brother to sympathy. It's above sympathy. Sympathy, you sympathize, and you are done with the pain of that person. You are done with whatever is going on there, and then you move on with your life. But when you move on with your life, and you still can't settle down, even though you have made your little contribution, and you still remember it, and you say, oh God, oh poor child, oh, what this person is going through, why, it bothers you, and their problems is now bothering you. Why is it bothering you? Because you have put yourself in their position. You have identified with them, and it's an indicator to a certain limit. It's an indicator to a certain limit. Maybe I should read here. It says empathy. Ability to imagine oneself in the condition of another. Power of imagination. You are now imagining. Remember I said you put yourself in their condition. You are now imagining it. Oh, but anybody can be in this position. It says ability to imagine oneself in the condition of another. A vicarious participation in another's emotion. Example, the widow expressed empathy for the woman who had just lost her husband. It says the widow expressed empathy. The widow expressed empathy. Why the widow? Remember, this is an example. I'm reading the example. The widow expressed empathy for the woman who had just lost her husband. Putting oneself in the shoes of another people's pain. The feeling is intermediate, not short-lived or long-lived. The feeling of empathy eventually dies down. Sympathy, you feel sorry, come on, let's help. There, bring yours, we help, and then the person goes, and then you go on with your life. You don't even think about it. You've done your part, you moved on. But now, empathy, even though you've done your part, and you left the place, for some time, for some days, you are still thinking about that person. But at a point, it begins to die down. As time goes on, it dies down. That feeling goes away. That emotion goes away. Now, let's move to compassion. Many times, you hear people say things like compassionate spirit or compassionate heart. Usually, we consider people who does charitable work or people who helps people that have social problems to be compassionate. But it's not just in that direction. It can be in any field. But it would be in the field of alleviating pain of others. Now, let's look at it this way. Compassion. A deep sympathy for the sorrows of others. Remember, a deep sympathy. A deep sympathy for the sorrows of others is no longer just empathy. Empathy was emotions. It was a feeling. Now, this is a deep, inside of you, a deep sympathy for the sorrows of others with an urge to alleviate their pain. A deep sympathy. A deep one. It's why I said that we always interchange these things. We say, oh, sympathy, compassion, empathy. They are synonymous to one another, but they are different. We are dealing now with a compassion. It says a deep sympathy for the sorrows of others with an urge to alleviate their pain. With an urge to alleviate their pain. It says compassion is the emotions of love. All right, let's leave this. Let me explain this nicely. What is a compassion? Compassion is not sympathy. It has sympathy. It has empathy. But it goes beyond the two. When you find yourself in a position where you have these deep emotions of love that pushes you, that urges you to take action, permanent action, consistent action in alleviating the pain of other people. The difference is that compassion pushes you to take actions of love. Sympathy, you are just helping. You can just say, oh, I feel sorry for that guy, you just help them. It has no connection with your heart. You are doing it in a general way. You just feel sorry for this person, you want to help. Empathy, you have now graduated from sympathy to empathy, where when you sit, you think about this person. Oh, goodness me. Now it's no longer just you are putting yourself in their position. You are not just feeling their pain. Now there is a drive in you to go beyond feelings, to go beyond putting yourself in their shoes, to go beyond those, to help them. And how do I know? If this thing becomes a recurrent thing with you, if it becomes recurrent, if it happens once, then it's fine. But every time these things happen, you always find yourself taking actions to help. You always find yourself, because compassion drives people to action. Compassion moves you to action. Let me give you an example. Let's take a biblical evidence or scriptural reference here. In the book of Luke, I'm also going to be taking it from New Living Bible. In the book, the reason why I use New Living Bible is because it's always very clear to basic knowledge of everyday thing that we experience. Now, look at what it says here. Luke chapter 7, verse 11. Dealing with Christ, with Jesus. Look at what it says. Soon, afterwards, Jesus went with his disciples to the village of Nain, and a large crowd followed him. Verse 12. A funeral procession was coming out as he approached the village gate. A funeral procession, we know what's a funeral procession, meaning someone died and they were carrying the person out of the gate. So, the people following the bereaved family and they're supporting them with the dead person, that's a procession. It says, a funeral procession was coming out as he approached the village gate. The young man who had died was a widow's only son. She was a widow, meaning she has lost her husband. Now she has lost her only son. She was a widow. A widow is someone who does not have a husband. Not that they don't have a husband, it means their husband died. Now, the only son that she has that was left also has died. Let's continue. The young man who had died was a widow's only son, and a large crowd from the village was with her. Oh, look at verse 13. Oh, when the Lord saw her, his heart this is beautiful. When the Lord saw her, his heart overflowed. It's an overflow. He didn't just feel it. He said overflowed with compassion. His heart overflowed with compassion. Look at what he did. His heart overflowed with compassion. She went to the widow and then she said, "Don't cry," he said. Then he walked over to the coffin and touched it, and the bearer of the coffin stopped. "Young man," he said, "I tell you, get up." Then the dead boy sat up and began to talk, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. And Jesus gave the child back to his mother alive. Now, what point am I trying to make here? There was something that was said here, and that's the subject matter. There's something that moved, that caused that action to be taken. We call it what? The subject matter. His heart. Remember, we say deep sympathy. If it's deep, it's coming from inside of your heart. He said, and his heart overflowed, meaning it was too much. He couldn't take it. This woman just lost her husband. She was a widow. Now her only son has also died. And the master feels that pain is too much. And he stopped. And he went to her. First, he has that compassion towards her. She went to her. She said to her, "Stop crying." She went to the child. He raised the child from death, took the child, and gave back to the mother. Why? He had a compassion. His heart overflowed with compassion towards her. So this is what we are saying. There is a sympathy, there is an empathy, there is a compassion. Compassion is a deep sympathy. The emotions of love towards somebody's misfortune, towards somebody's pain, towards somebody's sorrow that causes you to take an action of love in alleviating their pain. Is that your position? If that is your position, your giftings and your talent is in that direction. What are the kind of people that you know that goes through suffering that you are always compassionate towards? Are you compassionate towards the poor? Do you always want to help them? Are you constantly, every time when you see people who are hungry, you can even take your own food and give them, and it will make you sleepless night. It will give you sleepless night that this person is going to bed without food. Your giftings and your talents could be in that direction. Giftings and talents are not just physical. Giftings and talents are not just dancing and singing. It could be intrinsic. It could be spiritual. It could be in the inside of you. So there are so many of them. So if this is your case, your giftings and your talent could be in this direction. Let's take the last one. The last one is uniqueness. All right, I'm not gonna spend much time on uniqueness. It says being unique means that you are different and doing things in a unique way. Being unique means that you are different and doing things Being unique means that you are different. Doing things in a unique way means that you do things differently from everyone else. I see that. Okay, but it was right. Being unique means that you are different. And doing things in a unique way means that you do things differently from everyone else. Uniqueness is another pointer in understanding our areas of our giftings and talent. Then it says, it means a rare gem, one in a million. Uniqueness does not follow the crowd and does not join the bandwagon. Uniqueness does not follow the crowd. You know that it's in the human nature to follow the crowd. Whatever is trending, people want to go in that direction. Whatever is happening, people want to find themselves in the place where the things are happening. But what does it mean to be unique? It means there are things that you do in a unique way. Even though everyone else does it in a right hand side or in a left hand side, but you are doing it in a right hand side. You are not the kind of a person, in this instance, you don't follow the crowd in this way, in this instance. There is what is called a bandwagon. A bandwagon means a trending, things that are trending. So in the world today, you find out that people always follow people, according to what is trending. But there are people that are unique in a way that they do different things. So my question to you is this: what is it that you do that people always says to you, you are unique in a way you do this? You are unique in a way you put up this. You are unique in a way you approach these things. You are unique in a way that you look at these things. So it can be in many ways. But uniqueness means you are different. Of course, you should be different because you are original. We are original. Many people follow people. They want to follow how this person sings. They want to follow how this person talks. They want to move the way this person moves. They want to do what these people do. There are those that even though they want to try to copy, they can't. They are just unique. That's who they are. In their own way, they are just unique. And they are so comfortable in their unique way. So what is it that you do that people always says to you, the way you do this, you are very unique? Or what is it that, people always say to you, you are unique in the way you do these things. And they appreciate you for it. Your giftings and your talents could be there. I want to say something before I wrap up these giftings and talent. One of the characteristics of gifts and talent is that it attracts attention. It wows people. Giftings and talent amazes people. It wows people. It's one of the characteristics. When you see a man that functions in the areas of their giftings and talent, they always wow. It's always wow. Wow. How does he do it? How? It always wows people. It's one of the characteristics. Of course, you could also see, when you watch the talent shows that we always watch on the television, America Got Talent, SA Got Talent, India Got Talent, Nigeria Got Talent, and the rest of them, when you watch those programs, every time a person puts up a great act that function in the areas of their giftings and talent, naturally, people stands up and claps. There will always be a standing ovation. Naturally, gifts and talent, it wows people, it amazes people. Why? Because it's a gift from God. It got to wow people. It got to wow people. Why? Because it makes people wow. The way this person does this, we don't even know how he does it. And even if people want to copy, they can never be the original. So we are saying that your giftings and your talents are natural abilities given to you by God. Remember, I mentioned the product and the content and the direction for use. The product is content and the direction for use. Every product has a direction for use. If you buy a medication, there's a direction for use. If you buy a shampoo for your hair, there's a direction for use. Everything you bought, there is always a direction for use. So the giftings and talents is more or less like the ingredients in us. God gave us a purpose, a vision for living. He gives us a purpose. Then he complements it with an abilities, gives us natural abilities that we may discover these abilities within us and package it as a career life, as a work life, and use it to serve purpose. That is where direction for use comes in. So for giftings and talents, remember I said everyone on the planet Earth is gifted, but it is our responsibility to discover our areas of gifts and talent. For direction for use, tomorrow we are going to go to calling. Or when we come back for the next segment, if time permits us, we are going to go to calling. Once we go to calling, we now start to see direction for use. Now that you have the giftings and talent, now you know the areas of your giftings and talent, how do you use it to serve purpose? How do you use it to accomplish purpose. That is the one direction for use. So I want to say thank you so much for being part of this segment. And please remember that this class is for you. Make sure that you do not miss any of these segments because they complement each other. But for now, thank you so much and do have a wonderful day. God bless you.